Hello, friends, and welcome to the third episode of Books Live. It's lovely to see the couple of you that are in the chat at the moment. Hopefully you're still there. I'm pleased to introduce today's guest, Kassidy Coursey. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you. I'm doing really good. I've never done one of these before, so I'm a little bit nervous. I was kind of bopping to your intro music. It was super fun.
I love the intro. It honestly plays in my head every day, which is really sad. But my nephew created the music, so I'm like, oh, it's because I love him.
Yeah. It's super cute. I liked bopping to it, and now that you said that, I'm gonna go to bed tonight and be like, dun, 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 dun. Yep.
It may haunt your nightmares depending on
Great.
how this goes. You might be like, oh,
Fantastic.
that's the song of joy, and then you might also be like, that's the sound of death.
It depends on how good this goes. Like, if it totally tanks, I guess.
We'll see. I mean, there are 10 pairs of eyes, I'm assuming. Some of you might not have pairs of eyes, and I apologize if I got that wrong. There are at least 10 eyes, 15 eyes, if we've all got one eye each. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Great spot. They are amazing horns.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am a frequent attender of Comic Cons. I like to go to Emerald City Comic Con specifically because it's my local one up in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And one year I had a mission to find horns because I knew I needed them for my upcoming book. And that was like a couple. Now I have way too many horns. I have probably 12, 13 pairs of horns. And these are the ones that are most user-friendly with like the headphones. Like that. Some of them are outrageous. They're huge. These are my sloth horns, my Kalaya horns. This is how she looks. They're little nubbins.
Fabulous. Little nubbins. Oh, that's the best description. I don't think there is such thing as having too many pairs of horns because I assume you've got different reasons for each one.
That's right.
You know, so yeah, I think you should take that back because that's not a thing.
Every day, people won't look at me strange at all. It'll be fine. It's totally fine with my professional life. It'll be great.
Have you worn them at work yet?
No. Oh God, no.
It's nearly Halloween. You could totally get away with it.
So for our work, I work in a healthcare office.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be unusual to see people while wearing horns. But for Halloween, all bets are off. I do get to wear like a costume for Halloween. And so long as it's not too way out there, right? I can do that. Like I went as a zombie one year. I went as a vampire one year. And I went as a plague doctor in 2020.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That is
it felt
so funny.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Oh, you have such a good sense of humor. I love it.
Thank you.
And that is very apparent in your writing. So your upcoming, it's your debut novel, right? Fallen's First.
Yes.
Which I'm so close to finishing. I'm like 90% of the way there. So do not spoil the ending. If anyone else has read it yet, do not spoil it for me. But it's full of humor and just a jam-packed full of passion and emotion. It's so well written. Like it's so well written. I've said this 1,000 times before. Not a fan of fantasy, not a fan of dark fantasy. As a whole, don't normally pick them up. But you are contributing to this phenomenon where indie writers are bringing it. They're fucking bringing it. So thank you for writing it. It's awesome. And thank you for letting me read it as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and what to expect if we were to pick it up?
Sure. Anybody who's a writer knows this is the worst question you can possibly ask a writer. Like, what's your book about? I don't know. We just freeze. So I've tried to practice and let's see how I do. So basically, if you take the 7 deadly sins and you make them a dysfunctional family, you add a little bit of they're not humans, they're demons. I also have pitched it just as like a one sentence, an Adam and Eve-ish retelling, but they're both demons. Satan. And that tends to, kind of resonate with some people depending on the person. But all that said, it's not a super religious text, I would say. I was not raised super religious. I kind of knew what the Bible was, but it wasn't a part of my life. And so it was more when I was conceptualizing, well, what's like a really cool gateway character that everybody knows? And that's like the devil, right? Everybody knows who the devil is, or they have their own version of the devil. And so then I took the devil and I twisted it a little bit, and I gave the devil a little bit of a different backstory, and that's kind of was birthed. So I've read some religious texts, but I do have some friends who are who have read this book, and I'm so grateful to them, because I did not want to offend anybody. Like, I did not want this to come out and be like, this is offensive to all Christians everywhere, or the opposite way, And so I have a really devout friend, and I said, I need you to be honest with me. Is this hurtful? Is this harmful? And she read it and she said, no, I actually really love the themes. You made it your own. You didn't make this a thing that people are going to talk about and be like, oh God, that was awful. What have you done? Great. Another friend who she refers to herself as a recovering Catholic. And she said, this was actually, she really liked it.
You cut out just a tiny bit.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're back. So the recovering Catholic, what did they say?
Yes, she really liked it. She said that it was kind of healing for her. And she also said, like, why is the devil hot?
Because they basically all are. You've got like the hottest cast. Kind of the point. So Tim made a very good point that this book is probably the beginning of a new cult that we get to witness in real time. I agree, to be honest. I feel like there are going to be this. I feel like this book is going to do really well, like really well. There are so many likable characters, and you've given them such distinctive personalities. And it's not, because I picked it up thinking like this is going to be just pure smut the whole way through, because I didn't know. I tried to go into books not knowing much about it, and to be honest, there's not a ton. Like it's not like that's the thing of the book at all. It just has sex scenes in it, which are very well done. You're welcome.
I think my brother's here, so now he knows. And so Justin, I'm sorry. Maybe skip that chapter. I'll give you a heads up.
It'll be fine. You're not going to miss like tons of the plot. It's just like connection between two main characters. Anyway. But no, I think it really surprised me. And as I was reading it, and not like, oh, I'm surprised this is good. It was like, oh, I'm surprised that it is what it is. Yeah, it's much more complicated than I thought it was. And there's a lot of lore in there. Is that something that you like made up on the spot, or is it something that you've researched that is like similar or adjacent to like history or religion?
Yeah. I lovingly call this book my Ship of Theseus. And if you don't know the Ship of Theseus, it's basically like the TLDR is it's this ship that just had so many parts replaced on it to the point where it's like, is it even the same ship anymore? I started writing this book when I was 19, and I'm double that now. It is not the same. Like the plot has always been the same. It is like my writing style has changed, and the way I tell the story has changed. I actually understand POV now, or point of view, like first person, third person omniscient. Like I had no idea what I was just like, la la la, we'll just flop it around and see what happens. So I when I first started it, it was just a concept, right? It was this idea. And I heavily influenced by some of the works of like Neil Gaiman, and I know that that's like there's a controversy around that now, but I read The Sandman and his personification of the endless, like death, dream, despair, destruction, like all these concepts that were entities that were interacting with each other, and I really loved that. So that's kind of a piece of it that I took with the Sins, make them a dysfunctional family. Here, let's put them together and see what happens. So there was a little bit of that. And then I also have to credit my brother from a really early age. He let me watch him play a ton of video games, and probably
Oh.
my favorite was Final Fantasy, and specifically /4, and then 3/6. Those
Mhm.
were the best ones. And people can fight me. I know there's strong feelings about this, but no, I feel like 3/6, that's my baby. I love that one so much, and I love Kafka. Oh my God. Um, but it was this whole like introduction into the world of fantasy, right?
Mhm.
And how to tell a really epic story, and also have these funny moments between characters, and it was storytelling in that there was text. Here's a
Mhm.
character name, here's their text, and they're pixelated characters, like they don't have any facial expression, but the writing was so good that it just drew you in. And so that really stuck with me, is like, this is how I want to be able to tell a story and make it about characters and make them interact with each other in a way that sticks with you, right? And is you can connect with it in a way. Like, even if you don't necessarily agree with any of the characters, you can still kind of see where they're coming from and hear the complexity that's there. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I love that you were able to see the storytelling in video games, because I love video games, and my husband loves the Final Fantasy series. I couldn't get into it, but it's not because it's bad. I just have a short attention
You
span.
just don't like fantasy.
That's it. It's because it had the word fantasy in it, and I was like, well, I don't like this.
It's okay.
But I do like the game Scum, which says a lot about me.
Oh, I don't know that one. I
It's like
don't
a
know.
prison survival game zombie thing.
I'm
It's
learning so much about you, Saffron. That actually sounds. Look that one up. I need to write a note down.
I could send you a link, but this is about you,
Please.
Cassidy. It's not about
Well,
me.
that's right.
So what is the thing that started this at 19 years old, where you were like, I'm going to write a story?
Mm-hmm. For any of my people who were around as young, impressionable minds during the AOL days, it sent you like discs that eventually turned posters on your coffee table, because they would send you millions and millions of discs, like 20 free hours, 50 free hours, whatever. So I was an AOL kid. And in AOL, when I was 13, 14, I had no idea about the disasters of the internet or the dangers of the internet. So I was just allowed to do whatever I wanted to do. And my parents were just like, sure, whatever, the internet's fine. Um, really nothing scary really happened to me. There's like some weird stories there, but nothing like god awful.
Mm.
Thank goodness. But there were these role playing chats where you would either you could roll a character, you could be D&D,
Mm-hmm.
or Dungeons and Dragons. You could do just free form role playing, where you're like, here's my character, here's their profile, this is what they do and who they are. And so I started to get into that. I had some friends who were dabbling in it, and I was like, ooh, this looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you find other people who match your vibe, who match your style, who you can create a story with.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, well, let's put our characters in this crazy bank heist situation, or they're being chased down by this ultimate evil, or what have you. And you go back and forth, and you just write this story together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that with some characters. And then, like, little teenage me, little girl me, I was like, these boys are dumb. None of the boys play boys how boys should be played. And so I created my main character from the book from those days, like, oh, this is how boys should be, which is like, he's totally different now. But the things that are the same about Sarah, the main character, he's still a demon. He still has like hell's fire blood, just like blood that runs really hot, so he's really warm all the time. He can control fire. And he still looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have character art that's floating around, and he's got silver streaks in his hair, which this did not exist back when I was a teenager. I want to make that abundantly clear. I don't know what happened there. Like, I summoned it into being, but he always had that. And so then from me playing his character, I got to play him with other people and figure out who he was and who his backstory was through other people. That's which cool. Was kind of, I didn't even know he was Pride when I first played him. I had no idea. And that was a thing that kind of came to be as I kept doing these things. So thanks to AOL and the Raiden chats.
That is very cool. That's a very cool jumping off point. Yeah. So when you were playing as his character, what caused you to go, I need to tell the whole story?
I had this one role-playing partner. Her name was Becca, and
Mhm.
she became like the person who we just, again, we vibed and we're like, let's
Mhm.
put the crazy situation. Let's have this person from their past show up. Let's have whatever, all weirdness. And she is a very talented writer, and I wish I knew where she is now. I actually put her in my acknowledgments in the book, and I'm like,
Aw.
Becca, you okay? Um, but she through her character was like, her character would ask my character Sarah, like, tell me about your past and why you're
Mhm.
like this. And I was like, I'm just gonna make it up. Here we go. And it's again the flopping around and doing whatever the hell, you're just like, I guess this works. And there's this thing in the writer community, for anybody who doesn't know, there's plotters and there's pantsers.
Mhm.
And the plotters plot, like they have beautiful spreadsheets. I have one friend who she's a spreadsheets master, but I look at those spreadsheets and I get anxiety. I'm like, there's no way into that spreadsheet when I can just write the damn book. And then there's pantsers that are just like, sure, whatever, this is happening. I didn't know you told jokes like that, but I guess you do. I didn't know you were a carpenter. I guess you are now. You're just you do what the characters tell you to do. It sounds
Mhm.
a little psychotic, but I swear it's a thing.
It is.
I would put myself at like an 80% pantser, 20% plotter. Like I have a very loose outline of what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
but it could change, or I might look back at it when I'm halfway through the book and be like, oh yeah, that was the thing I was gonna do. I guess that's not working now. Well, fine. And then we just move on, right? So I think when people see my outline, when plotters see my outline, I think they get anxiety, just like I get
Mhm.
anxiety. That spreadsheet going, I couldn't, I can't. It's too much.
There's no right or wrong way of doing it. And I think, especially when you first start writing, you will develop your way of doing things. So you'll experience doing one way or the other, and you'll either listen to people's advice and do what they say, or you will try and figure out on your own. And eventually, I imagine that with most writers, and that's it's kind of happened for me, is that I started off thinking like I needed to plan every single thing, and I cannot do
Yeah.
that. I'm like, what? I can't restrict myself like that, because then if I
Yeah.
can't make those two things meet in the middle, then I'm terrible and I can't write. So I need to have, like, as same as you, we're probably quite similar in the sense that I'm like, okay, so roughly this timeline needs to happen and these people need to be in these places, but if they're not, it's totally fine.
Right.
And then that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. We've got a team pantser.
That's right. Absolutely. Team Planter. Oh,
Oh, hi,
that.
Courtney.
Yeah.
Um, there are loads of people here, by the way. I just want to acknowledge. Hello. I'm so glad
I
that there
can't
are
see the
people.
number. I have no
Do you want to
idea.
know the number?
Yes and no, but mostly yes.
Okay, it's 22, which is about double what it normally is. So that's why I'm like, there's loads. If there were 22 people in this room, firstly, it'd be sweaty. Secondly, I think that'd be very uncomfortable for everybody.
I'm sweaty right now.
So am I. I'm like, just brush the sweat off my top lip. I'm like slightly fanning myself, but being really careful, because if I'm doing this under the table, it's going to look weird. So I have to be careful.
Good to have that self Efron. It's good.
Oh, I'm going to lose track. Okay. This was a very long period of time between, admittedly, this is what you said. I'm not saying anything about ages. So you said it was quite a long time between when you first started this story and when we're 2 days away from release. Were you constantly working on it for all that time? Or did you leave it alone?
No. That is such a good question. So
Thank you.
You're doing a great job, Saffron. You're a great host. so I started when I was 19 and got up to a certain point. Like, maybe is familiar with the book. It's like ish through part 1 and stopped somewhere there in my 20s. And then I eventually got up to, there's a pivotal part in the middle.
Okay.
And I got up to that point and I was like, it can't. Like, there's a thing I had to do. and I could not do it. I was like, no, I can't. Even though I knew it had to happen, like I knew this is the story, this is the way it's going to go. Like that's not going to change. I knew that wasn't going to change because that was a core part of Sayre's character.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't write it. I was just like, no, I'm not good enough yet. And also, I'm afraid I'm going to screw it up. And just scared of that scene because it had to be done perfect. Like it had to be right. I was like, I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay.
And so then I went to college. I went to professional school. I dabbled a little bit at, like, I poked it kind of through professional school. Like, remember when I used to write? Yeah, this thing. Okay. And then I would leave it again. And I dabbled with some of the other characters. Like I wrote this side story that was on Wattpad.
Mm-hmm.
There anymore, I don't think. If it is, go find it, I guess. I don't know. But some people who I saw, one person in the chat who that was actually how she found me, was through Wattpad, and it was a story between the twins Gluttony and Greed and Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like called Gluttony, Greed, and Wrath Visit a Burger Joint or something like that. I can't even remember. It was just still... but so that was me poking, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I remember I used to like writing them. And when I got past professional school, and now I'm actually like in my healthcare career and I'm in my office and I wasn't writing anymore. This was like in the heart of COVID, where everybody else who did not have an essentials worker job, they got to like hang out at home and learn sourdough bread. And my husband got paid for 2 months and just learned how to draw, but he didn't have to like do anything for work other than log into a meeting once a day. And I was like, this is bullshit. And so, but during that time, there's still people who need to learn how to do the medical thing. And I like to teach. And so I had somebody come in, she was a student.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like, I got to teach her kind of ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to a point where I saw this sticker on her laptop where she would take her notes.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, "The voices are back. Excellent," on her laptop. And I asked her one day, we'd been there for like, I don't know, 6 months I'd been teaching her. And I said, "What is that sticker about?" And she said, like, kind of sheepishly, she was like, "Oh, I write fantasy stories." And I was like, "Do you?" And she was like, "Yes." I was like, "Tell me more. I need to know more." And in my office too, there's dragons everywhere. So I think she knew it was a safe space. Like I have D&D stuff. It's super nerdy, right? So I think she felt like maybe she could like open up a little bit. And I was like, "When do I get to read your writing?" And I just harassed her. I was like, "Please let me." I did not tell her that I used to write. And so now we're like, when she told me that, I started thinking, I miss my voices. I want my voices to come back. And so I started writing again, and I got past that point, that pivotal point, and I got towards where I'm starting to finish the story. And I got to where I'm like, I like to run in the mornings. And when I run, like, that's kind of like my movement meditation, where I just disconnect, things play in my head, and I get to see the characters, and I got to hear them again. And I was like, oh, it's happening.
That's very cool.
Starting to see where this is going to go. And it was like 6 months later, and I asked her something. We were in our health center, and I said something about like, "Oh, when you wrote this, were you thinking of like third person omniscient or third person limited or something like that?" And she got this look on her face. And she came back and she went, "Are you a writer?" And I was like, "No, not really. No, I'm not." But yeah. So then she and I now have a really strong friendship. I'm going to call her out. It's Freya Inkwell.
Oh.
And
What, this Freya?
That's the one. It's an old-fashioned girl.
Nice.
But yeah, so I credit her hugely with getting me back into writing again. And I will never be able to overstate that, just how much that meant. And now I have a sticker on my laptop that says, "The voices are back. Excellent."
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
She's one of my favorite.
Oh, well, thank you for joining, Freya. I'm glad that you were part of the fire part of the Hell's Fire that got Kassidy going again. That's awesome. So this was around the COVID-y time that you picked it back up again, right?
I needed an escape, right? Because I was just in healthcare. We had to work harder. Like we didn't get to make stuff.
Yeah.
But that was my gift to myself.
I'm so pleased for you. I'm so glad that you had writing and cocktails on your side.
Yeah.
So a question that I know the writers in the room will be interested to know, and of course some of the readers as well, is so from the point that you began making this an actual tangible thing that you could pick up and hold, to getting published with Shadow Spark Publishing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Shadow Spark Publishing.
What was that journey for you? I'm asking you to tell me lots of journey questions because it's fascinating to me, so I apologize.
No, I think, and every writer's journey, it like no matter who you talk to, it's all totally different.
Completely different.
Like no the same journey. And that's something that I've learned as I've gotten to know more people in the writing community. Like, oh, how did you end up here? How did you were indie published and now you're trad published. You were trad published and now you're going back to self-publishing. Tell me more about that. Like there's it's just outrageous how many things people do and how different everybody does it. So I had no idea how to publish a book. Right. I was a baby. I didn't have any author friends who were in the biz per se. I had author hobby friends who knew a little bit and maybe dabbled a little bit in self-publishing. I didn't even know how you went about doing that. And so I started with Google. How do you publish a book? And it's like, you need an agent. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. What do I need to do to get that? And it's like, there's this site called Query Tracker. What the hell is that? Right. And this hole, like you just start spiraling into like this, and things I didn't even know were a part of the whole thing. And so I started out because I finished writing my book. It's ready, right? Like nobody needs to look at it. Everything's fine. I had some critique partners, but I was like, but it's great. And I can get an agent now. And you're like, no.
Bless you.
Not how, right? I was so young and so innocent in my 30s. But I went on Query Tracker and I started to learn how to do the thing, right? You learn query letter and how to write a synopsis, which is the most painful thing you will ever write in your life. God, and if anybody's ever written a synopsis, you understand. And then you have all these agents and you're like, are you a good fit for my book? Well, let's find out. And you go to another website called Manuscript Wish List and you see like, does any of the stuff that they list match with any of my stuff? And if it just barely matches, you're like, ooh, maybe it'll work. And you throw your book at them. And then you have people who are like, oh, they're talking about my book, and you throw your stuff at them and they're like, nope, instant reject. And you're like, I don't know what you want. I thought it was fine, but apparently not. Like every author goes through that. We're like, it was perfect, but apparently it's not. I was going through that journey with all of these agents is that, and this is like learned over time, right? As I'm looking at more manuscript wish lists, so many agents were like, I want vampires, I want witches were big when I was queer. They were looking for marginalized authors, LGBTQ representation, but they were not looking for demons and angels. Do not send me this, or you'll be banished forever. You know, it's just like, okay, I guess, fine. Friends, but no. And so I saw that more and more, like, this is not the hotness right now. Like nobody wants this, but it's just the publishing industry does not want it. Like the publishers tell the editors tell the agents, and the agents say, no, we don't want that. So it stands.
Yeah.
And so as I started to see more and more of that, I started to look at, well, okay, what are my other options? Do I want to self-publish? And if you are a debut author, it's like you can self-publish, but it's tough. It's really tough to self-publish and get the word out. Like there's success stories everywhere, right? But that's like the 1 in 100,000 or whatever. And so then I was like, okay, are there any other options? And that's when I started looking at small presses. And then there was this pitch event that happened on then Twitter, RIP Twitter.
Still Twitter.
It is, yes. And we still go on Twitter. But there was a pitch event that Shadowspark was doing, and one of my other friends who we were in. This is the other thing that happens when you're going through agents and you're trying to find somebody. You end up in the trenches. It's truly called the query trenches, where you're just like you're all battling it out, and you're all scarred and bloody and covered in mud. You're like, I suck as a writer. Nobody's ever gonna want this. Everything is terrible. But you have each other, like form these strong bonds. And I had one of my other dear friends, I'm going to call her out, C.W. Rose. She wrote Ocean Song, which is the mermaid romantasy. But she saw Spark Publishing. And she saw that they had this pitch event, and there was one of their owners who specifically basically described Fallen's First. And so I was like, well, it's probably not going to work because I've been here before, but sure, here, I'll yeet it at you and we'll see what you say. Full manuscript. And then here we are now, because they liked it with it. So I chose to do a small press because when you have a small press behind you, it means something. It's like somebody else saw this and believed in the work and vetted it and is going to put a stamp of approval on it. And they're going to help you with the ISBN and, all the things that publishers do. And every single small press is totally different is another thing that I learned. Like, it's crazy how different they all are.
Yeah.
But they at least give you some, again, stamp of approval. And that means something in the biz when you're like, this small press chose me. And now I am published under them. So the rest is history. And here we are.
That is very cool. And I know that I think you and I spoke just under a year ago, maybe like 10 months. And you were like, yeah, I mean, we could do an interview, but my book's now for like a year, so maybe we should wait. And we managed to time it so it's 2 days before the release, which is really cool. I'm blown away by how, like, this is a horrible phrase, but I'm going to use it, how just like balls to the wall you've been with trying to promote your book. And Ellen Holmes is the same. Where you're just like, I'm gonna keep fucking telling people about this book, whether they like it or not. And that's the only way to do it. Even if you have a small press behind you, it's the only way to do it. It's the only way to battle with the algorithm. You have to do it in like large quantities. Everything has to look slightly different, so it's a bit new. You must be so tired.
Yeah. Your girl is tired, Saffron.
Yeah, no kidding.
She's I very fortunately, I have, again, you cannot go through this journey without your people. You need, like, okay, maybe you could. I don't want to speak in absolutes, but I could not. I could go through this without my other author ladies, my people who I've been through the trenches with, people who we have a small press debut group. They're phenomenal. Beta readers and street team people and all that. It takes a village. It really does. If you want to do this by yourself, it's going to be a lonely road. And I have never known the camaraderie in my entire life that I know now through this writing community. Like, it's insane. And it's scary for writers because we're all kind of introverted naturally. I feel like I'm like, that's why I'm hiding behind these words, like, don't look at me, right? Like this is like, no, which is why there's bourbon involved, and that makes it a little bit better. It's scary to put yourself out in front of people when you have your writing that's there, like, it's very vulnerable. You're like, this is a piece of my soul I have put on this paper, and now you might give it 1 star, but go ahead, ruin me, right? It's you invite the pain, and you almost have to do that in order to continue to be successful, because that's just a part of the process. Is 100% a part of the process. I was rejected by triple digits agents. I don't know what the number was, but it was triple digits. And you have to, like, proceed through that, and doing it alone would be so lonely and awful. So I am so thankful for all of the people who I have met, all of the people who have supported me, like friends, family, loved ones, like all of the above. I've been very fortunate in that people have said, we believe in you. We're so proud of you. This is amazing that you're doing this. And then you have the collaboration with people who are in the query trenches and through those small press groups and things like that. Could not do it without them. They're amazing.
It is fantastic trauma bonding.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is trauma bonding.
It's like the perfect storm. Creativity and tortured artists and rejection. It's like it's very much trauma bonding. I just like to say, I didn't necessarily mean to call you out, Holmes, but it's because you work so very hard. And Tim, I wasn't not calling you out or calling you out. Your name just wasn't in the chat that I was looking at the time. And I'm sorry, I'm not constantly thinking about everything. That's all. I'm very much if it's in front of me, it exists. If it's not in front of me, it doesn't exist type person.
Yeah, and this is like, that's the generation we live in right now.
Yeah. Also, I agree with Weenie. Best name ever. I hope that's your on your birth certificate, because if it's not going to change, amazing. Invite the pain. Pain can be a fantastic fuel to the fire, and it can also really knock people back. And I'm sure you've seen on, especially on social media, because that's just like the echo chamber for miserable people, is that people are very easily discouraged because there is so much rejection. And even if you do have your people, it's still not always going to be perfect. Sometimes you will write something that like one person gives a shit about, and sometimes that one person is you and not everybody else. And that's okay, because in 10 years, maybe it will be trendy or the thing that people want to see again. But it totally depends on your goal. Like, do you have a goal for success for this thing for you?
Do I have a goal? Yeah. So yes, I have small goals. I try not to. So I tend to believe in set your expectations low and your hopes high. So for example, here's a goal, and I don't know if readers necessarily know this, but I don't think they realize the power that they have. I don't think they realize that reviews count, ratings count to the degree that they count.
Yes.
Which is why we're all obsessed with, like, oh my God, can you please rate my book? Can you please review my book, please? Will you do it, please? Because like just for an example, this is what I've heard. I don't even know if this is true, but I feel like some semblance of this is true.
Okay.
On Goodreads, which you can review things early on, right before something is published. If I believe it's 50 ratings on Goodreads, not even reviews, but ratings, like stars. Then after that 50, it will then transfer onto Amazon, which is where everybody goes to buy their book, right? So like one of the sellers. So then it'll say on Amazon, it won't have the reviews there. They don't transfer over, but it'll say 4.7 on Goodreads. And people will have an idea. Oh, okay, well, this is how this rating is. But if you don't get that 50 on Goodreads, then you can't have it on. And then on Amazon, this is, again, something I've heard. I don't know if this is true. You need 100 reviews on Amazon before your book starts popping up on the, like, oh, you read this, maybe you'd like this.
Really?
Yep.
It's a popularity contest again.
It totally is, and it's painful, and it's like there's also there's all these gatekeeping things because Bezos.
Yes.
Strong feelings, but like but there's no other avenue, right? Like we have to go through Amazon because there's no other game in town other than Barnes and then it's like there's the distribution game. There's just a mess of stuff, right? But okay, so looking at Amazon, if you have bought a certain amount of money product from Amazon, you can't even leave a review. So you're just like, what do you want us to do, man? It's so frustrating. Just the barrier we have to go against when you're a small-time author, when you don't necessarily have like the big traditional publishing money backing, throwing. So that's why we end up throwing our book everywhere as much as we can with my like 1,400 followers. Thank you so much. It's just it's hard. It's really hard.
It is. It's exasperating, and that's why I started doing this whole fucking thing in the first place. Is that I was seeing people screaming into the void, and I was like, I can hear you, and I will go. I want to try and help at least one other person hear you as well. So if there's anyone here that didn't know about Kassidy beforehand, that's learned about her a bit now, then I've done my fucking job. You know, I've done my job, and I've put you in front of somebody new, and that is the point. And it shouldn't be that difficult. Social media has a paywall. These review sites have a paywall. Amazon is trash, but everybody uses it, so it's a necessary evil. And it got so fucking sickening to me to see these people with their art going, please, this is my heart, and everyone going, I don't want it.
It's so
horrid. It made me feel so icky. I didn't like it.
Yeah, why
so
do
I was
we
like,
do this?
I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start a website and start interviewing people. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. And that's why we're here. But I totally hear you, and you echo basically every indie author's pain. And it doesn't matter if you're self-published, doesn't matter if you've published, or if you're with an indie press. It's still going to be a slog, because even indie presses don't have limitless money. They don't have the same sway that Penguin have, for example. So everyone's just working so hard just to get people to see art, which is bonkers. So yeah, it's fascinating to me. I'm so glad that you were able to get your book in front of Shadow Spark, and that it was a match made in heaven or hell. Match made in hell for you. At any point did you think, do you know what, I might just self-publish because I can't wait any longer?
That actually never entered my brain. And it's there's multiple reasons for that. My thinking at the time was because if anybody's read Fallen's First, it doesn't have the traditional structure, which is why, like, in hindsight, it's 2020, right? Like, I know now why publishing houses or why agents were like, no, this isn't it. And that's why indie is like, it's whole other thing, right? Because we can kind of break the mold a little bit. We can go a little bit outside the norm. Like you beginning how there's this anticipation, like, so just going to be smut. It's going to be dark romantasy, and there's just going to be sex. That's what sells, right? Sex sells. And agents kind of want, because it sells. And I can't blame them. Like, they want to make their money, right? But like, what if you're a storyteller and you want to tell a different story? What if you wanted to have a different track? What if you wanted to have a different plot? And nothing for that, because publishers, the big five, like the big ones, want safe. They want something that was going to sell. This is going to sell 1 million copies. That's why you have them. I'm getting a little bit on a soapbox right now, but that's why it's like, oh, Keanu Reeves wrote this book, and it's like, but maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know the guy, but or Millie Bobby Brown. You know, there's all the, like, we put the big names on there because we know that will sell. And because that's a sure thing. Publishers love the sure thing, or the big five love the sure thing. Whereas when you go indie and you go small press, they're gonna break the mold a little bit. They're gonna be looking for something like Angels and Demons. Like, oh, you say the big five doesn't want Angels and Demons, but we do, and we know that do. There's people out there that actually want it, and so that's when you get to find your people and your champions and the people who are actually going to support you. So yeah, I just think, I think at the end of the day, again, just everybody's journey is just 100% different, and you just have to find where you happen to match. So this is a long roundabout way of saying I never thought of self-publishing, because I had written, in the time that I was querying Book Around, I had written book 2. And book 1 is very much like an origin story. It's kind of like a really long prologue. Who this character is and how he was developed to be, and who he is, who he is looking to be. And then book 2, which is like, I fucking love my book 2. I love my book 2 so much. I cannot wait to yeet it at people. Book 2 has a more traditional structure, which I plan it that way, but it does. And it's got that more kind of commercial feel. So I was like, well, if book 1 just falls dead, I could probably find a way to introduce sort of book 1 in the beginning, I could just start querying book 2.
Wow.
And so that was my backup plan, is I was going to start with 2 because it just has, like, again, it's a little prologue of book 1, but I love book 1. Book 1's my first baby, it has like all the richness there of all of the things that happened to Sayre to make him who he is and who he's going to be.
And that's some of the most fascinating stuff, in my opinion, to get from any story, is like, why does that person or that being do what they do? And I'm like that in real life as well. I'm like, why are you like this about everybody? Yeah, so why do you think self-publishing didn't enter your field of vision? Was it you just didn't entertain it at all, or did you sort of think about it a little bit and then go, no, I don't want to do that on my own?
This is going to sound so ironic.
Okay.
It sounded like a lot of work.
You were right.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to have to do all of that by myself. I want to have like people behind me. And so yeah, it was more like, well, if I get a publisher, if I get even a small publisher, I'll at least have, like that support with marketing and things like that. Spoiler alert. The big 5, small publisher, indie, all of these authors are basically doing this marketing by themselves.
Oh, good.
Right? If you're not a name that's known, again, if you're not Keanu Reeves, Millie Bobby Brown, Dan Brown, all the people that you see in the airport, right? If you're not them, then they are probably doing their marketing all by themselves.
Yeah.
Or a personal assistant to help with them. But again, that's not money that's coming from the publishing house. That's money that's coming from them to be like, help me market this book.
Yeah. Wow. That's very bleak.
But it's worth it.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. It seems like this has been a very rewarding experience for you.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And here's the thing about that. From the beginning, I have wanted nothing more and loved nothing more than connecting with readers. And as they go through Fallen's First, I have gotten readers just message me who I've never met them before. And I had one, she was so bubbly. She was like, oh my God, this is so great. I'm so into it. And she was so nice. And then out of the blue, like 2 days later, she messaged me, all caps, "You bitch."
That's amazing.
What did you read? Tell me where you're at. I need to know. I loved it because it's like evoking that emotion is so. So I love when people come and curse at me in my DMs. So come on, bring it on.
Love that. Love that very much. I'll put your link tree in the chat at the end of this so you can find Kassidy and hunt her down. Swear at her. Amazing. Preferably about the book, not just like for no fucking reason.
Maybe not about like the way I dress or about my hair or about my teeth, maybe like
yeah, let's just keep it to like demons and shit. Okay. So for anyone that has joined us like kind of halfway through, I'm gonna put a QR code in case you're interested in pre-ordering Fallen's First. You only have to wait a couple of days to get hold of it, but here it is in case you're interested. I'm gonna leave that up for a little while because you can probably tell I'm Saffron and that's Kassidy. That's us. For some reason you can't have the name things and the QR code at the same time, even though they don't really touch each other.
Seems like an oversight, but that's okay.
A bit of a design flaw. I think I prefer that to that. Like this one, I could put both up. That's a bit weird.
Oh.
That's a bit weird. I don't like that. Yeah. We have had lots of people join us. It's very nice to see everybody. Nathan, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Hi,
Nathan. Oh, goodbye. It was really nice to have you here.
Thank you for Christy. Love you. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. So Lauren would like to know, have you had any beta readers start with book 2 yet?
Oh, no, I've never had anybody
have
book 2. That's an intriguing idea, actually. Because I do have I do have a prologue it's not polished or anything like that, that I wrote for book 2 that basically just recaps in, 4 pages, the plot of Fallen's First. It would be interesting to have somebody start with a beta of book 2. If I had anybody that was interesting in that would be fun.
I would be interested to know what people thought of it as a standalone without reading the first one.
Yeah.
If you
I
have
would be interested too. Yeah. So book 2, it basically starts off with Ser, the demon of pride, and he has just gone through it. Like, he has been
through the ringer.
And so he's at his lowest of low, and it's how he climbs out of that hole.
Okay.
Basically, it begins there, and it starts with him doing horribly, and he keeps doing horribly, and then some horrible people come for him, and it's how is he going to get out of this mess. So that's basically how chapter 1 ends with that. But he's a demon of pride. That he's at his lowest of low. That he's broken.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what the feedback you have that you would have if you were to do that. So did you say that you had beta readers for the first book?
I did have beta readers for the first book. I had too many beta readers for the first book.
So. What does too many look like? Because I asked about 20 people for my upcoming trash fucking fire. So how many should I cut out of the list is what I'm asking. Give me your wisdom, but don't let me make the same mistakes.
Yes. And it's so personal, right? When you have a beta reader, and beta readers are the people that read, your worst drafts, or I don't know how much further I can go with this. I have no idea what's working and what's not, is basically what you get beta readers for. And so I found my best beta readers by doing exactly what you did, like, again, having like 20 people do it. And you get to find the beta readers that are helpful, that actually give constructive feedback, that say, hey, this is not working, and here's why. Here's a suggestion that you could use, or just take this idea and run with it. And then you have beta readers that are really not helpful. Like, they'll just say, this isn't working, and you're like, okay, why? And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, well, okay, that's not useful at all. Like, I need to know more about why you're telling me this feedback, because or else I cannot change anything if you just tell me you don't like it. So by throwing it at like those 20 people, some odd people, that's when you start to learn, this is the type of feedback I'm looking for. Like, I didn't know as an author what type of beta feedback I needed until I started using beta readers.
Yeah.
And I had seasoned beta readers who would ask me, what are you looking for? I'm like, I don't know. Just like read the thing. Like, but then you start to learn, like, I'm not sure about this chapter or this transition. I want to see if this plot makes sense, because it might be a little bit too cerebral. Like, just let me know what's working for you. And I think a solid beta reader. So this is my plea to anybody who's a beta reader, because I love my beta readers. They're amazing. I found the best beta readers. My best beta readers tell me what doesn't work, and they give me some suggestions on how to fix it. Or they just say, this isn't quite working, but if maybe you moved in this direction, maybe they don't know exactly how to fix it, but they kind of steer you with the why. But they'll also tell you what is working. And I think that is such an important part of the process as well, because if you as a beta reader go in and just tell everything that's not working, then I, as the author, come out of that going, wow, this book sucks.
Yes.
And so finding that balance of like, what's working, what's not. Like, don't be afraid to like scream at the author. I love getting all caps comments. That's like my favorite thing. When people come into my DMs and say, you bitch, that's like my favorite. When they say it in the messages to the comments, I'm just like, I love that. But then it's working. Struck a chord. I know that you got the emotion I wanted out of it, and that is also useful. And I don't think beta readers necessarily know that unless they've been doing it when they have had betas themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've seen an uptick in people charging to beta read books, and I'm wondering if that is a thing. Like, because I know like people have got to earn their money. I get that, and but there was an author that I interviewed, J.D. Sanderson, that put it perfectly, that actually made me a little bit sad, is that we're at a point in history where we are having to monetize our hobbies to survive.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
I'm not denying people
Yeah.
having that thing, but I wonder what if sometimes that's like the only opportunity people have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know anyone or trust anyone, at least then if you've got like this paid service, then potentially it might be more trustworthy or whatever. But I think there's something to be said for finding people that you know who know your voice as a person, who care about you enough to give you honest feedback.
Yes.
And that's something that I've learned. So from the first ever episode of Books, there were 42 episodes in the first season, and this is episode 3 of season 2. The first episode was with Katie Carlisle, and we clashed, I think, very mildly, on a moment where I was like, oh, I just want people to give me nice feedback because I need to be encouraged. And she was like, no, people need to give you honest feedback, otherwise they just don't care. And
I think you need
now
both.
I agree. Yeah, yeah, definitely. You need the encouragement. You kind of need both from the one person, or from each person. Whereas you say they're giving you the encouragement, but they're able to be like, okay, so I didn't get this bit. So if I ever give beta feedback, I try and say like, okay, between this bit and this bit, I would find this more interesting if I know a bit more about the character, or I question why they said this, or why did they use this piece of equipment? I don't think that makes sense to me. But I always put, if it's going to be something that I think is too critical, I'll say, take this with a pinch of salt, or you could just
totally
me.
Yes, yeah, just my opinion, just so you know. But true, I feel like you do need both of those things to be like a healthy balance, like the good and the bad. We need to know what's working, and we need to know what's not working as authors. Because if you just tell us what's not working, then it's like, well, why am I even doing this anymore? Yeah, I have found my best beta readers not through paying them or like Fiverr or things like that. The best strategy that I have found to get the best beta readers is going to your author friends or your author community. If you don't happen to know anybody, this is what I first did. Like I was again on Twitter, RIP Twitter, where I said, I would love to exchange my first chapter with some people. Here's like, it's dark fantasy, 7 deadly sins as demons. Is any, and then we exchange 5 pages, 10 pages, chapter 1. And then we each other. And at the end of that chapter 1, you're like, you could, it's almost like matchmaking. It's like dating almost. It's like Tinder, but for beta reading, where then you go on a second date. Do you want 3 chapters? How do you feel about 75 pages? Do you want the whole book? Let's get married, right? Like it's that whole thing. Like you find your match with betas, but I have been fooled. I don't want to say fooled. That seems bad, but I have beta read stuff that I was like, I'm really not having a good time with this. I am not the right beta reader for this. You need to have people who are actually into your genre, wanting to help with it, are compelled by it enough to help you get better. And if you end up beta reading or having somebody beta read for you who just like hates every step of it, and so that's why it's like, go on the first date, the second date, the third date, find out if it's actually going to be a good match to continue.
That's smart. Because I imagine I've heard this from people, is if they send out like ARC, so advanced reader copies, or betas, that they're likely not going to get 100% of those back.
No.
People are going to drop out, get fatigued, forget about it. I mean, I'm terrible for it. I take on like 5 at a time. And then I go, oh shit, when's that due? Oh, I've got to read this all in one day.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah.
Time is valuable. People don't have time. And that's another thing that I'm so grateful for. Anybody who has finished my book, I'm like, you spent hours with me. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that, because I understand the value of time.
Oh, nice. That's very nice. I don't have a ton more questions for you, but I want to know. Okay, there are 2 things. Firstly, I'm going to ask anyone that is still around, if you have any questions for Kassidy, drop them in the chat. And while you're thinking of questions, I'd like you to do a bit of a show and tell.
I
want to know what's in your box.
Yeah.
What's
What's in the box? What's in the box? So first off, like I have a PR box that is available for pre-order if anybody wants it. Pre-order for 2 more days, but you can still order a PR box anytime you want to.
Cool.
So like a proof copy of the book, that's what that's going to look like, but it'll come with a real copy of that, and it might look a little bit different and prettier. That'll be nice. See some annotation tabs in there. I got some bookmarks that I'm going to throw in there.
Oh, you're like a magician's assistant. This is very suave.
And there's going to be, depending on who you choose or what you, some stickers in there too. So my husband is a fantastic artist. This is his chibi rendition of Wrath.
That's so cute.
And I have chibi renditions of all of my demons, thanks to him, my sweet, sweet husband.
Oh, that's so nice.
Some tissues specifically for a chapter. But this is an extra special thing. So this box came and I haven't opened it yet, but I know it has goodies in it that are going to be for the PR box. So I'm going to open it up now.
Amazing.
With all of you. That's fun. It's like Christmas, right?
It's just like Christmas. We're going to get some horrible sellotapey sounds.
I will tell you, the person who taped this taped the shit out of it. They did not want anybody to get in this. Holy crap.
Is it like, this is terrible, Fort Box?
Did you just come up with that?
Yes, but I will say it is like piggybacking off of the thing that I call, so my dog sleeps in a crate. She's got anxiety. It's a whole thing. But we were given a used kennel, which is like the one that the NYPD use for their dogs, like a really solid thing, and I call it Bork Knox.
Oh my god!
And that's where that came from.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I love a good dad joke. All right, there's some like, oh my god. Many things in here. Okay, so this is something that nobody knows yet.
Oh, exclusive look into the box. That's very exciting.
I wonder if I can show like all the things that are in here. Maybe, sort of. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And these are seasoning blends based on the sins.
That's
so
really cute.
If you Starbucks, you get to have like, depending on who you pick or what you're doing, I have lust, I have pride in here, I have greed that actually has, you're probably not gonna be able to see it. It's got like gold flecks in there for greed.
No shit, that's amazing.
But yeah, so you can season your food with your 7 deadly sins.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm hoping they're not actually deadly, because that'll be your last meal, in which case plan it wisely.
7 sexy sins.
That's slightly better.
But yeah, I have so many. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's so cool. That's a really cool addition to a PR box. I love that.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, no kidding. So we've got, I missed that. I'm sorry, Lauren. It did become an unboxing video, and I'm here for it. If anybody else wants to open random packages, I don't care if it's to do with your books anymore. Just any packaging you get, maybe a post, the mail if you're American. Hello, Andrew. Nice to see you.
Hi, Andrew.
And the recovering Catholic asks, "Why are you so pretty?"
I know exactly who that is. Erica, stop it. Stop it.
It's a valid question.
It's because like I'm guessing that's probably her dear husband, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. How are you? It's good to see you. And Erica knows that I don't do well when people say things like that about me. So stop. I'm just going to say stop it.
Would it help if I said you look really fucking badass? Is that better?
That's great. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fixed it. So Ellen Holmes has a question. So what's your experience with Shadow Spark Publishing been like? Did you enjoy the process from acceptance to final manuscript?
Ooh, that's a great question. So I will say, here's the best thing that Shadow Spark did for me is introduce me to a community of people. And one of those people I've been like, I never would have talked to this lady. I never would have talked to this author, I don't think, if it wasn't for Shadow Spark. Courtney Collins, seen her in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she's my Shadow Spark sister, and I am so
Oh.
grateful to have met her through them. Because now we actually we got together last year. We have an Elementals writers retreat that happens in November. So it's C.W. Rose, who wrote the Romantasy Ocean Song. It's Courtney Collins, who her second book's coming out in January. She writes an epic fantasy. In the Name of Honor is out now. And then it's Erica Eberhardt, who is the recovering Catholic, who called me pretty, but I'm still going to promo your book, Erica. But called Tarnished, and she just came out Diminished, and her third one's coming out actually pretty soon in January. So hey girl, hey. Yeah, so absolutely the community that Shadow Spark Publishing has introduced me to has been phenomenal. I love that I have a small publisher backing me that believes in me. I think that's huge. And again, like there's this thing that I've seen from all authors, no matter where you come from, trad pub, small pub, indie, where we're basically all in charge of our own marketing. That did surprise me, but learning that we're all basically doing that is normal. So, all right, go with it, because everybody's strapped for time, right? Nobody has time. Nobody has time to come up with content, and they will do what they can, right? With like, here's release day and here's pre-order day, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh, I'm so glad that you've had such a positive experience with it, because I'm always scared to ask questions like that in case it's not been great. But I mean, you speak about it with such enthusiasm. But
perfect, right? Like there's always going to be things that you're like, oh, that could have been better, but that's going to be true no matter where you go.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I choose gratitude.
There's no point in burning any bridges.
Ever. Oh, absolutely.
But no, I mean, it's come across as incredibly genuine, and I've only heard good stuff about Shadow Spark, and they're all over the place. So they're obviously a very good organization to be involved with, because I knew who they were when I read that that's who you were
name
published
recognition.
By. Yeah, it's very cool.
Great. We love
that. Okay, so Courtney has asked, I'm not going to try and pronounce that.
For the love of Lucifer, what is Kisho Tenketsu structure?
Oh.
Kisho Tenketsu it's a Japanese word. I did not know that this is what Fallen's First was.
Interesting.
But then I went to a writers conference. I went to the Surrey Writers Conference in Surrey, Canada. It's next to like British Columbia. And learned about this concept, and I was like, holy shit, that's my book. It's basically like, so there's the 3-act structure that everybody knows, right? Where it's like there's a beginning, and there's a rising, and then there's the climax, and then there's the falling action at the very end. Everybody knows that one. Kisho Tenketsu is where the climax happens in the middle. Everything from that point is like the fallout and dealing with it. So if that's fine, so be it. But I put it in the tropes for a reason. Basically, Fallen's First has that structure where things build up. There's this epic moment that happens in the center, and then everything that happens after that is a result of that epic event that happens in the center. And the ending, I think, is still, it's not as climactic as that middle part, but it still has, like, I want to say I worked on that ending really hard. I think it ends in a fairly satisfying way that still leaves you going, ooh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, your middle climax was rough. Not rough as in not well polished. Rough as in like, oh man, I am feeling things.
That's the you bitch moment. That's the one.
I knew that's what that was.
That's the one.
Because I'm gonna skirt around the spoilers. I read that and I thought, what the fuck is gonna happen now? And I kind of love that. I don't like having to wait a really long time for the epic moment in a book, or for a shocking moment or whatever. And because I hate it when like things are dragged out, and sometimes they feel like they're dragged out, but you gave enough of a background for me to care about everybody. And during that moment, I'm going to be really careful. During that moment, I was like, "What's she done that for?" I felt really annoyed, but also like, "Okay, good. Well, something happened. That's cool." And then I was like, "What the hell is how I can't when I can't imagine where the story's going to go is my favorite thing, and I couldn't. I wasn't like, okay, well, I know exactly what's going to happen now. I was like, surely that's the end, and I've got 50% of a book to go. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyone that reads this, and I hope that you do, I'm going to put the QR code back up again for a second. If you get a chance to read this, it is so well written. It's so good, and it's as I've said before, it's not my cup of tea normally, but because it's well written and the storytelling is really good, and I really like the characters, it wasn't a chore to read. Sometimes it can be when you're reading things that are out of your comfort zone, but I've got to say it was a lot of fun. Fun, sad, stressful, confused. A lot of feelings. So if you're into a lot of feelings,
feed me the emotions. No.
Those horns are going to your head.
I know.
So while I wait to see if anybody has any other questions, I'm going to be winding the episode down in a second. So make sure you pop those in the chat. But is there anything that you wanted to share that I haven't asked about or that you haven't had a chance to talk about yet?
That is such a good question. Oh my gosh. I think the only thing that I would add to anything is that I'm so thankful for the community that I belong to now, because I've never known a community like this before in my life, like I said. And I feel so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So lucky to have met the people that I have and to have made the friendships that I have that I know are going to last like my entire life. And if anybody feels like they are an introvert or they're just like, oh, that could never be me, and no, I can't reach out, I can't find my people, no, that just sounds too scary. I would say just do it. Just reach out to people, because the worst they can tell you is like, no, sorry, I don't, and that's not my vibe. And then fine, move on and find your people. Like, you need to find your people in order to proceed in this landscape. And especially now, just with the world how it is, like, you just need to find your people so you know that you are supported and you have people who have your back. And I've been so lucky to find my people. I'm just so grateful for them. So if you're here, thank you. And I love you all. And I feel so fortunate. So thank you.
That's so nice. You're going to make me cry.
I'm sorry.
No, I feel like this, as you've said several times, the writing community is like no other. And there are always bad apples wherever you go. And there are always sourpusses and people that are just destined to be miserable by themselves because they force themselves into that corner. But a majority of the writing community, I will say, has been really kind. And you will find that people aren't going to be drawn to you as a person or what you write or whatever it is. But you're going to find someone. You will find somebody that will support you. And if I hadn't have found the people around me in this community that have been as supportive as they have been, like you, I don't know what I would have done. And I quite frankly probably would have given up by now.
Yeah.
Because you need people on your days where you're like, I feel like I'm just pretending. I feel like I'm just pretending that I'm playing writer.
Syndrome. The imposter syndrome is so real.
And it's like frequent. It's so, and it happens just out of the blue. And you're like, what am I doing here? I'm just pretending, and I'm wearing a costume, and everyone's going to find me out in a minute. And then there's going to be a witch hunt. And the majority of people will go, it's okay, don't worry. And then you think, oh, okay, that's nice, thank you. And you just need those people to go, it's going to be all right. I also feel like that. And it is really important, especially because as any type of artist, you are going to have days where you think everything I've done is shit. Everything I'm going to do is shit. It's never getting any better. So yeah, I'm so glad that you found my community. And if you are here and you're either thinking about writing or you're in the writing community, if you haven't found your people, welcome, you found us. So if you need friends, we're here. on various platforms. We'll put links and things. But if you need friends, welcome.
Pop into my DMs and yell at me. I actually really like that.
It's
really
like the
fun for me.
third time you've said that, and I'm a bit worried about you. Oh dear. Oh, okay. So we've got a couple more questions. So Dorothy has asked, what is one thing that you've learned about yourself as you were writing the books?
Oh my God. That's a deep question.
Just one thing. It's only one thing. You can do it.
Just one thing.
Just one thing.
Yeah, I learned about myself. Wow. You know what? This is gonna sound like so stupid and so generic. Like, I learned I could actually write.
Congrats.
Yeah. I learned that, I guess, like, to make it to expand it just a tiny bit more. Like, writing is not something that just comes naturally to people. Like, you need to actually repeat things, and you need to revise things, and you need to redo it, and you need to edit it, and you need to do all that. But that's how then you turn into a writer, is like you keep on doing it, you keep on going, because nobody is naturally good at this. Nobody wakes up like when they're 12 and is like, I am a best-selling author. That does not happen. And so I learned that I can write, and I can hone my craft, and I can make this better, and I can actually develop a book that I am proud of. And I did not know if I was ever going to be proud of Fallen's First, honestly, because again, it's my ship of the changed so much. And there was a point in time, of course, just like imposter syndrome, like this is the shittiest book ever. Like, I hate it and everybody else is gonna hate it, and here's why. But now I actually, like, I read through pieces of, you know, I actually like this. I did this, and I did a good job. And so that feels really nice to be able to say that about something that I wrote, and that would not have happened if I didn't just keep going.
That's it. Because if you don't write the thing, then it's never going to exist.
Never going to be better. That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm really pleased for you. And I love hearing people say that they are good at the thing that they do, because self-belief is like way more powerful than other people believing in you half the time. We've got another question. So did you pitch during small pitch, or was it a Shadow Spark specific pitch event?
Yeah, it was Shadow Spark specific. They held something called Spark Pit, #Spark Pit. I think they've only done it a couple times, and I don't think they've opened up for Spark Pit since my inception. I was one of several authors that got brought in, because now our schedule is crazy. Like I have my second book already on the schedule for 2026, and my third book already on the schedule for 2027, and we're scheduling out through 2027 for all the other Shadow Spark books.
Very exciting.
They're already written. I'm not going to do a George R. So they just need to. They just need to get done. Just need to get published.
Amazing. That's so cool. We have another question. So, Ellen Holmes, you're on fire with the questions. I love it. So her sister loves dark fantasy romance books. Do you have any comps for your book?
Yeah. Well, like we talked about earlier, it's not high spice in that there's not like it's not like throughout the book. Like there is spice.
It's not the theme.
Yes, yeah. It's not like this is the whole reason to read this book. But there is that in there. So if you take away like the consistent spice in it, Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, that has like a Prince of Wrath who is in it. And so if you like kind of that broodiness of him, and then there's like kind of a romantic subplot there, that's a little bit of a comp there. I also like to comp to things that aren't necessarily books, like, but the sibling dynamics of Bridgerton, revenge story of John Wick.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, or on a Monte Cristo, kind of that story, like just, yeah, he wronged me, she wronged me, and I'm gonna go after them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I don't think we have any more questions, and I've run out of questions. So I just wanted to say a big thank you for having the patience to wait basically a year for me to interview you. And thank you for being a guest on the show. You've been such a pleasure. You're so funny and so clever and witty, and honestly, this was just a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I am pleasantly surprised at the number of people that have joined us and have been sticking with this for the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's very pleasing. So obviously you've got a lot of people out there that really love you. So it's so great to see people supporting each other. And as I said before, if you haven't found your people yet, welcome. We're the weird ones. I'm going to pop the QR code up one last time, and I will pop the links in the chat when the closing outro thing comes on, just so that if anybody wants those links, then they can get them. But yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Safi. I appreciate the opportunity. It was long awaited, and it was worth the wait for me. So thank you.
Well, I am super glad, and this is the point where I awkwardly fade in the music. So I'll see you guys some other time. Goodbye.
Bye.